Hi, this is Karen.
And this is Art. And welcome to Karen and Art Go to the Movies, Episode 1.
We saw a really good movie last week.
We did.
We did.
Saw it for free.
We saw it for free. We saw Edge of Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And that was on May 28th. It was a press screening.
Yes, it was.
And Art had tickets through Clout.
Clout. So that's our plug.
Yes. We saw them at the AMC Orchard 12 Westminster, Colorado Theaters.
Yes.
They are way out on the other end of Westminster.
They are far. It was a faraway theater, which meant there wasn't a big crowd.
That's true.
Which was very nice.
Because usually for free screenings, they're
packed.
Yeah.
Yes.
This was probably 2/3.
Yeah, 2/3. It was a nice theater.
Beautiful.
So shall we talk about the movie?
Sure. So it is. The opinions here are our own.
Yes.
And we haven't been paid by anybody to say anything about anything. And we have weighted our...
Yes. Warner Brothers requested we don't publish anything until the movie premiered in the U.S., which is today as we're recording.
Right. Now, there have been things out online. For instance, I guess as of last night, the movie had a Rotten Tomatoes rating of 91, as it turns out. The movie premiered on the 28th in London. And in fact, there's a beautiful picture of Emily Blunt's outfit that's been circulating out online. So that's why there's already been some reviews of the movie out there.
Yes.
So, the general premise of the movie is our hero, Cage, played by Tom Cruise, has to keep repeating the day until he outsmarts the alien enemy in war.
Correct. And Cage primarily, and we see in the beginning of the movie, there's this montage that gives you the backstory of what's going on in the alien invasion. And then we find out Cage, although he's listed as a major in all these CNN reports, he's really the press guy for the Army. That's
and
what
he's got. A PR company.
No battle experience.
Right.
And that's some of the joke in this movie is that he's coming in with no battle experience. Because this movie is drama, it's sci-fi, it's got a bit of comedy, dark.
It's humor more than comedy.
Yeah. There's some good scenes in it. We'll talk about some of the generals. And so basically that's it. It's kind of a little bit of Groundhog Day.
And his cohort, Emily Blunt, plays Rita.
Yes.
And she is a highly decorated and acclaimed war hero.
Yes, and she's known as a Full Metal Bitch.
Yes.
Throughout this movie. I don't think she likes the name, but that's how she's referred to in the history books.
We have a friend. Yeah, the dog has come and visited us.
The dog has come and visited us, which is nice.
So the story unfolds in a near future in which hive-like alien race called mimics have hit the Earth, and
basically they've taken over Europe and Asia. We see on maps and good stuff like that.
And there's they've been shredding cities and leaving millions of human casualties in their wake. No army in the world can match their speed or brutality or persistence. And the mimics and their telepathic commanders.
Yeah.
But now the world's armies have joined together so that they can make a last stand against them.
And these armies, they've developed an exoskeleton that the human soldiers wear to kind of try to equalize it.
Kind of, let me see, we said there was a movie like that.
Well, yeah, there's been a lot of them.
Well, there was one in particular that was kind of like it.
Starship Troopers is
yeah.
kind of like that. Yeah, that was the other movie that this reminded me of a little bit, because that's kind of what the aliens reminded me of, was the bugs in that movie.
These aren't bugs. These almost reminded me more of octopus.
Yeah, octopus buzzsaw type things, which was kind of funny.
So, Lieutenant Colonel Bill Cage.
Right, Mr. Cruise.
Mr. Cruise. He's not a major, he's a lieutenant colonel.
Yeah, major, lieutenant colonel. I'm sorry.
He's an officer who's never seen a day of combat. And when he refuses to go in as part of press corps, he gets demoted to private.
Demoted, tased, and then he kind of wakes up in a pile of duffel bags, and at a airport near London, a military base in London, and
Right.
we come to find out he's now been labeled as a deserter, and he's been reduced to private, and he meets up with the sergeant major, played by Bill Paxton.
Oh, who
Real
was
good.
wonderful.
He was great in the role. Yes.
He was just terrific. A lot of the humor comes from him and his reactions.
Yes.
The nice thing about this movie, because I was a little afraid of the fact I thought they would be going back and forth to this, when we go around, let's go around one more time and one more
Yep.
time. Well, they cut that, so you didn't see a whole lot of repetitive. You saw just enough to pick you back up to, from where they failed before
Right.
to where they're going to pick up again. And that
Right.
was good. That was good.
So anyway, Cage and company are kind of thrown into battle, but however, it seems the aliens are always one step ahead, and there's a big massacre kind of on the beaches of Normandy, but Mr. Cage, or Lieutenant Colonel Cage, manages to kill an alien and get splattered with its blood, and this sets up the premise that once he dies, because everybody's massacred on the beach,
Right.
he wakes back up, back on the duffel sacks again, and he's figuring out what's going on, and that starts this repetitive cycle. We don't see it every time, and sometimes we see the Tom Cruise's character throw in some monkey wrenches. He kind of starts repeating dialogue that Bill Paxton's character's just about to say, and it throws him off. And we have a scene where there's some gambling going on a bed, and he kind of hides it in advance and things
making
like
friends with
making
his...
friends along the way.
Yeah,
But eventually he runs into Emily Blunt's character,
he does.
and who
On the
battlefield, and he's kind of moving her out of the way, saving her as she's about to get killed.
And she knows she's about to get killed. I think she's got a foresight of that.
Foresight of that, and so basically that's when she tells her, when you wake up, come look for me, and he's kind of confused by it. Then there's an explosion, and he's back at the rucksacks again.
And he goes and looks for her.
Goes and looks for her. We have several iterations to get there, but eventually he finds her, and we come to find out that she at one point had that same power.
Yes.
Just to basically reset the day, and apparently that's how these aliens are able to get the upper hand is that when they're losing the battle, they're able to reset time and make it go forward. Yeah, it's a kind of a weird concept of a film, but it works in this case, and that's what you have to remember. This is the rule of time travel, if you would, that's
Right.
introduced in this movie, and I've got some comments on it later as we talk about it.
Well, the neat thing about this was that the movie was very good. They kind of, at the end, was a disappointing to us.
It was to us, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But the time travel parts,
Okay.
they knew where to go with them. Yeah, number one, not to be repetitive. That was always that was my fear going in. We were going to get a repetition of the same,
Right.
24-hour period. But eventually, we move on that, and we come to find out that we find out Tom Cruise's character dies and goes back hundreds of times just from certain scenes in the movie. Where Rita asks, "How many times have we been here?" And he goes, "More than you want to realize." And it's like playing a video game. You get to a point in the game you just can't get through it, and so your character dies, and then
But you've
start
saved.
the game. But hopefully you saved to that point,
Yeah.
and you've come in there again. So that's a lot of it. I mean, the interaction between Cruise and Blunt was really good.
Yep.
I felt, and
She was a good, strong character.
she
for
was a
him.
good, strong female character to go up against
Yes.
him.
He doesn't always have those in his movies.
Yes.
And he did here. We don't want to say a whole lot more than that about the story itself, but we do want to say, look at the last. You'll know as the movie is winding down, and look at the last 5 to 10 minutes of it, and we feel that the movie would have been better had that not continued.
They changed I'll say this. They changed the rules of the time travel.
They did.
I think to facilitate an ending that was nice. It was kind of you compared it to kind of like Top Gun.
The movie ended. The movie had an ending to it that was kind of like the ending of Top Gun.
Exactly.
Which I always felt was kind of glued on the end of Top Gun.
Yeah.
I never thought it really. In fact, the ending was very similar, unfortunately.
Yes, it was. So that up until that last 10 minutes, the movie worked, and it worked well.
It was very good.
It was, and I'd recommend it.
Yes.
You have to pay admission now, guys, but yeah, I'd recommend it.
Well, I gave it 4 out of 5 alphas.
Yeah, originally I gave it 3, but I thought about it. But I like to go 3.5. Please put on some pants before you put on your body armor. That's all I'll
golly.
say. Yes, you remember that
Please.
scene. And yes, that was frightening. That was
frightening.
That's the most horrific scene in the movie right there.
I did like the planes.
Yes.
I love the way
There was some
they dropped.
futuristic military
dropped,
aircraft and how the soldiers get into battle and
Yeah.
and the
This was definitely not the Siege of Normandy of World War II.
no,
No.
definitely not.
But anyways.
So like I said, we both felt it's very good. We both recommend it. And how do people get a hold of us, Karen?
Well,
Yes.
you can contact us. Our company is mrsbeasleyomnimedia.com. So you can find us at feedback at mrsbeasleyomnimedia.com, and that's OMNIMEDIA.com. And we have a P.O. Box. So you can go from Mrs. Beasley Omnimedia at P.O. Box
745-472.
in Arvada, Arvada, Colorado, 8006. And we also have a Google voicemail where you can be brilliant in 3 minutes
Or less.
or less if you'd like, and if you'd like to have your comments included in a future episode. What are we going to see next? Bud?
Well, let's give
All
them
right,
the phone number
let's give them the
first.
phone number, and then we'll tell them what we're going to see next.
720-279-4365.
Now, the next piece of summer fair that we're going for, we also have free tickets to,
Yes.
is
Jersey Boys.
Jersey Boys. I've been looking forward to this for a long
Yeah,
time. I always wanted to see the
we
play.
wanted to see it on stage, but we've always missed it.
Yeah.
It didn't fit into our schedule, so we're going to see this Clint Eastwood directed film.
Yep.
We'll see how well he does. Yes, it's a musical film of a stage musical. So
The
we'll see how
music's
well
going to
it
be
is.
wonderful.
Oh
in
yeah,
it.
Frankie Valli, obviously.
I mean, obviously, if you're in your 50s, you had Frankie Valli as the background of your early years. I've got an older sister, and we had all those albums.
Yes, I'm sure you
So-
did.
I'm really looking forward to this because I remember all the songs and all the words to all the songs, much to our chagrin.
She'll sing them all in the film. In the movie theater. I already know this.
I think I'm going to probably end up having to buy the
The soundtrack.
soundtrack to that one. Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyways, that's going to be the next movie. So, if you want to, if you see it in advance as well, and want to give us some heads up as to what you think about Jersey Boys, let us know.
Yes, please. Until next time. Thanks.
Take care.